I think the transition is important because of the way that residents might have a little bit more control in their training, in the sense that you will have a better idea of what parts of your training you're missing and what parts that you're good at, because you'll be actively following the types of activities that you've done and how well you've been doing at them compared to the feedback that you're getting, and what kinds of activities or milestones you're not doing so well or you're just not having a chance to do.
I think the transition to CBME is important to residents because it increases the quality of the feedback that the residents receive at the end of the rotation. I think it really helps to standardize the quality of training.
For us, the junior resident, actually we had 2 or 3 lectures by our staff and the CBME directors. And during our residency, we also had few meetings just to confirm that we are going in the right direction and we are using CBME how it should be.
I think like anything that's new and innovative, it's always a little bit of a struggle at first. So just because it was unfamiliar, things were being changed quite often. The way that the EPAs were written weren't always, they hadn't been solidified yet. So in the beginning there was a lot of questions and a lot of how do we go about implementing this? Even if we have the theory and what to do, it wasn't always smooth on getting the tasks done. But I think, especially with Dr. Richardson, Dr. Nguyen on board for our ENT department, things kind of got better very quickly. We had frequent feedback sessions on what wasn't working, what was working, how we could make things better. So this constant loop of communication and feedback between residents and the staff and the committee, I think has made the implementation pretty quick.
The residents who are entering the CBME programs are expected to understand the CBME structure at first. And second, they need to understand the EPAs. They have to understand what does these EPAs mean and how to achieve them and how they can benefit from these EPAs into making them the well-rounded, good physician that they always wanted to be.
The expectations of a resident entering the program haven't drastically changed. You still have the same expectations on, your skills and your patient contact and the things that you want to develop. The only difference is that you have these frameworks of milestones that you want to meet throughout the next year or 2 years or 5 years.
I think the main thing that was changed in the CBD model is the quality of the feedback. Now we are receiving a more specific feedback toward our skills and knowledge in a way that makes us achieve the skills faster and in a more accurate way.
The feedback that I receive from staff is, I feel it's more focused. It's more oriented into the things that I should really work on.
The assessments have sort of 2 components to them. The IDERs that we've been getting in the past, which is, after a month or 2 months or 3 months of a certain rotation that you've done, you get a global evaluation. We still have that in place, but CBME has an additional evaluation depending on the milestone or the EPA you're trying to reach. I think the best advice would be before you're starting your program on July 1st to read through the global timeline of which EPAs fit in where.
The most important advice I would tell them is read your EPAs and understand them, and try to understand how these EPAs will help you to achieve the become the doctor, the overall doctor and the subspecialized physician that you want to be. The other thing I would say is that always try to get the feedback, even if it's a minor task or a task that you did not succeed, or even if it's a task that you succeed in achieving. Always try to get the feedback just to become better next time.
I guess the advice I would give the residents is to ask more questions and not to be shy about asking questions, because it's really at the starting point.